Hello, my name is Lizzie Kennedy, and I've been an undergraduate tutor at the SVSU Writing Center for 3 years, and I've served as the student coordinator for the Community Writing Center for 2 years. I'd like to welcome you to another SVSU Writing Center video on tutoring writing. In this video, I'll start to introduce you to the 12-step tutoring process. This process is the procedure our centers use to conduct a session. Now, procedure sounds really formal and makes it feel like every session is the same. That's obviously not the case. Even if you work on the same assignment back to back with writers who are at the same stage of the writing process, every tutorial is different because every writer is different. However, we believe having a process in place will help you keep on track. When you are new to tutoring or are nervous about a session, this process gives you a framework to use. We see the process as unfolding in 4 parts: the opening, the reading of the paper, the conversation, and the closing. Each of the parts is then broken down into smaller steps, 12 in total. In this video, I'll talk about the first 2 parts and the steps that fall under them. So the opening part has our first 3 steps. Step 1 is greeting the writer, Step 2 is moving to the task at hand, and Step 3 is reviewing the paperwork. In Step 1, greeting the writer, you'll want to review the session record form quickly and then call the writer by their preferred name. Introduce yourself by name, smile, and make eye contact as you do so. It's all about breaking the ice and making the writer feel comfortable. Talk about the semester, ask about how they're doing in their classes, ask about weekend plans, ask if they've been to the center before. When you are just beginning to tutor, this may feel like small talk, but this step is crucial because you are actually learning a lot about the writer and their personality. In Step 2 of the opening, you talk about the assignment. Here is where you ask the writer about the assignment. Don't ask yes or no questions, but open-ended questions. Ask them to give you the assignment in a nutshell. Ask them to talk about where they are in the writing process. Questions like these should get them to summarize, analyze, and reflect. You, in turn, should be actively listening, making eye contact, rephrasing their statements, and asking for clarification. Some open-ended questions to get you started are: tell me about this assignment. Have you written a paper like this before? Where are you in the writing process? How is it going for you? What are your concerns about the paper so far? And is there anything specific you'd like me to look for? All of these questions will give you needed information, and if the writer is struggling to describe what they need to do, that tells you something. These questions also help establish that the session is supposed to be a conversation about writing, and that ultimately this is the writer's paper. They have the answers. They are the subject matter expert. You should also know that some writers will try to answer your questions by just giving the directions to you or reading from them. This is something you want to avoid. The writer's ability to summarize the assignment in their own words can be one way for you to gauge how comfortable they are with the task. If they try to read the directions, just tell them politely it helps if they can just explain it to you before you read through the directions. Now you'll move on to Step 3, review the paperwork. Yes, you've glanced at the paperwork already, but review the session record form again. At our center, we ask about other things that may impact the session. We think it's important to know the writer's native language, whether they have a disability that affects their writing, and what's their due date if this is an assignment. These are all things that will affect the session. If the writer has a disability that affects their writing, you'll want to ask if there are certain things that make writing and the consultation easier for them. Also, if a paper is due in an hour, this will be a different session than one for a paper due in 5 days. At this time, you should also fill out your portion of the form: your name, start time, etc. When dealing with schoolwork, ask to read the assignment sheet now. This is when you'll also want to read the rubric or any handouts that were given to the writer. Forgetting to read the assignment sheet or instructions is a problem. If the writer has forgotten key parts of the task, you'll both be on the wrong track. Some tutors think this reading of the directions means you can skip Step 2 where you ask the writer to talk about the assignment. Don't skip Step 2. Step 2 not only stresses that this is the writer's work, but also helps you to establish rapport. At this point, when you've got a grasp on the assignment, it's time to start reading the text they've generated. Before you do that, you have an opportunity here. If the writer has never been to the center before, outline the process of what will happen next. This is a chance to correct misperceptions, like that you'll be proofreading for them. Talk too about what you'll want the writer to do while you're reading. Give them a pencil and paper, ask them to jot down questions that they might think of while you're reading. This preps them to take notes during the session. If they brought an extra copy of their writing, invite them to reread their paper at the same time. If you know that they are worried about MLA documentation, give them a copy of your center's MLA handouts. Here are some additional things to think about while considering how to effectively open a session. What have others done in the past to start a conversation and make you feel comfortable? How does this opening conversation change if this person is older or younger than you? If you know them well? If you are very familiar with the writing task? You are now ready to move on to part 2 of the 12-step process, which is reading the paper. This part is broken down into steps 4 through 6. Read for higher order concerns, reread for lower order concerns, outline, and prioritize. In step 4, you are looking for 2 to 3 higher order concerns. Higher order concerns include the following and should probably be considered in this order: understanding or fulfilling the assignment, organization, developing or focusing ideas, and clarity or coherence of ideas. As you think of the above concerns, think in terms of the genre the writer is using. A lab report, a poem, a narrative, and summary will present different answers to the above higher order concerns and pose new questions. For a traditional academic paper with an intro, body, and conclusion, it can be helpful to read the intro and conclusion first. If they are radically different, that is often a sign that the writer started out expecting to write one paper covering points A, B, and C, but ended up covering points A, B, and H. This is a big issue of organization and development, huh? Likewise, check that the order of thesis is followed in the paper. As you read, remember you are not reading like a proofreader. Just make small marks in the margin where you want to come back for conversation. The pencil is used to highlight, not correct. In step 5, if it's necessary, reread for lower order concerns. As you do that, look for pattern errors and not just typos. As with the higher order concerns, make marks in the margin that highlight points you'll come back to, but don't correct. Lower order concerns can involve the following: grammar, issues of academic voice, or issues of documentation and formatting. For step 6, once you are done reading, take a moment and consider your approach. Look at the list of things you want to discuss. You'll probably be able to only discuss 2 or 3 things, so prioritize as to what is most important. You don't have to talk about the paper in paragraph by paragraph order. The biggest concern may be something that appears on page 5 of the paper. And you'll want to talk about the most important things first, so that if time runs out, you've covered what you most needed to cover. Ask yourself, what does this writer most need to know to improve this paper? Consider too your approach to these concerns. Can the concern be addressed through open-ended questions, being non-directive? Or do you need to be directive? Do you need to say point blank that the works cited page should be in alpha order? We know from Writing Center research that the non-directive approach allows students to own their paper and become better writers. Some tutors like to make a quick list on a scratch sheet of paper to remind themselves of the most important priorities and stay on track when talking to the reader. This can be helpful as your cheat sheet. You'll hear more about higher and lower order concerns and issues of directiveness and non-directiveness in other videos, as well as the remaining parts of the 12-step process. Here are a few questions to ask yourself while thinking about how to best read a paper during a tutorial session. When you revise your own work, how do you decide what is most important to change? Why is it important not to mark up the paper with comments and corrections? Can a lower order concern ever become a higher order concern? why, or how. Thanks for watching part 1 of our 12-step tutoring process video. To learn more about our SVSU Campus Writing Center, visit our website svsu.edu/writing center. To learn more about our SVSU Community Writing Center, visit communitywritingcenter.com. Any questions? Contact us at ccw@svsu.edu.